You are listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast exploring Scripture and all things related to it. New episodes are released daily. For more information, check out glossahouse.com and subscribe to our channels on Spotify and YouTube. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Proof Text. I'm Michael Halcomb and I'm here with my pal J.M. Smith. And this is an episode of 10 questions. And I guess it's not just me and just J.M. It's also just Jesus. As well, for thinking
That's
about
right.
J.M.'s shirt. Yeah. Is that
my
another
mom gave
Disciple
me this.
Dojo? Oh, okay.
This is not a design. This is my mom gave it to me. She picked it up at I don't know, it was like a concert or something she went to, and they were selling them. She's like, "I got you this shirt." I was like, "All right, I'll wear it."
Yeah. You know, if you put like a napkin in there and let it look like a huge bib, like one of those barbecue rib bibs that says just Jesus on it.
I would need one of those because I always get something on that's why I like darker shirts. Because if I wear white, man, it gets stained.
Well, yeah, this is 10 questions. JM gets 5, I get 5. We look at one verse in the Old or New Testament. In this episode, we're looking at the New Testament, which means JM goes first. He doesn't know which verses we're looking at, so I always spring them on him. And today, the secret verse is 1 Corinthians 13:3. And I just used the random Bible generator page to generate me a verse. So I never really, know either, but I get it a few seconds before JM does. So 1 Corinthians 13:3. If you're watching, I'm going to put that on the screen, and we'll have a look. I think it's funny when people say we'll have a look-see. Look-see. We'll have a look-see. Hey, we'll have a look-see. See?
We're looking and seeing.
Yeah. So here's what the NIV says. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. All right. We're in the New Testament, so you get to roll first.
Yeah. My question, I'm looking at a couple of different translations, and well, I'm look if I where is NIV says give over my body to hardship, and other translations say give over my body to be burned. King James says to be burned, but I don't see anything in the. So I'm wondering, is this a text critical? Like, is there a different manuscript that has?
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up.
So the word you're looking for is this kaphthesome, which does have the connotation of, to burn or to kindle.
But that's okay. So the question, but that is looking at. That's being glossed at least. Or wait, no. Then
there is a text critical issue here. One word is kaphthesome, which you see on the screen here. The other is kavchesome, which would be more. I think that would be like the beating. Sorry, I guess where the hardship idea comes over.
Hardship. Okay, so the question is, where is that that I may boast?
That would be the kavchesome. Sorry. So the kaphthesome is to burn. The kavchesome would be to boast.
Okay. That was So my question then is, which of those should we be reading here? giving over the body to be burned or giving over the body to boast? Giving over the body to
Yeah.
hardship that I may boast. NIV seems to, does the NIV seem to be kind of piggybacking both meanings, or are they going with once? Yeah, that's my first very elementary Greek based question.
It's a big difference. So I'm going to switch tabs here for a second. I'm looking at the Greek CNTR site, and you can see the variant pretty well here. You can see, for example, that our earliest and best manuscripts, like P46, right, have kav chesome, which has the idea of boasting, while kav thesome, which is what we saw on the SBL G&T, it's a later manuscript. It says kav thesome, I will be, in order that I will be burned. So yeah, in order that I'll boast, or in order that I will be burned.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big difference.
Well, it's comforting because it lets me know that my Greek was not entirely lacking and that I wasn't just missing something clearly that wasn't clearly in the text. So yeah, that's which of these readings do we go with?
Yeah. So I would say, on a similar line, my first question is, the word hardship, giving the body over to hardship, I don't see that anywhere in the text. Whether, if I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body that I may be burned or that I may boast, either way, the word to hardship is not there. So why did they put that in the text? So that's my question.
Yeah, it's interesting that NIV went with boast. Also, okay, so this is, staying in that area. The Revised Standard Version read, "And if I deliver my body to be burned." The New Revised Standard Version read, "If I hand over my body so that I may boast." The ESV went with, "And if I deliver my body up to be burned." So, and those are all like in the same tradition. Why did the NRSV choose to make the switch? Like, is there did something happen? Was something discovered manuscript wise between when the RSV was published and when the New Revised? Yeah, I'm cheating and using my second question to ask another form of the same one.
Go
But
ahead. Yeah.
this is when text critical issues come up, it's very interesting to people that, like, if you have any familiarity with text criticism, it makes you have to almost like put the theology of the verse on pause and say, before we start interpreting what the words mean, we got to know what the words are. And it takes the discussion in a very different direction, which is why a lot of people just get frustrated and they're like, I don't know, I just read the King James and all this new stuff is from the devil. But that's sort of the lazy way out.
Yeah. My second question would be, if the translation is "in order that I might be burned," kav thesome, if I give all access to the poor and give over my body and give over my body, hardship isn't there, but so when I give over my body that I may be burned, but I have love, but do not have love, I'm nothing. I gain nothing. Why don't you ever hear the translation with burned? I give over my body to be burned at weddings. That's just kidding. That's not really my second question. Stupid question. So what I do find is interesting is that you have the two eons here, the two if statements, the two what are they called? I don't want to say conjunctive, conditional. Yeah, the two conditionals. So if, now we only see one in translation, that's part A. Why is that when there are two? Although we do see a textual variant possibility here. My real question is that the part B of this is, why is feeding all and giving my body juxtaposed with love? Like, why? I don't understand. Like, usually, like, you have love, hate, or, hot, cold, black, white. Like, here we have give to the poor, surrender my body, hand over my body to hardship, or hand over my body to be burned, or to boasting, versus love, right? Maybe not versus is the right word, but you see my point. Like, maybe the better question is, how does feeding everyone and giving your body to be burned, how is that love? There, that's a better question.
All right. Well, then my third question is, how does this fit with how do we reconcile this with the verse that we looked at in a previous proof text, 10 questions, which was about seeing someone in need, a sibling in need, and giving to them if you have worldly goods or life of the world. I think check that episode, viewers, if you want. How do we reconcile this verse? Because this seems to be saying doing those things like feeding people, giving your possession, and even giving your body, like literally doing these actions, that it's possible to do those but not love. How do we reconcile that with what we saw in First John that seems to equate love with doing those things for people rather than just feeling or saying that you love them? This is a tension, it seems.
I'm bothered. I guess I think this is my third question. Are you counting on this one too?
I've asked three, so this is your third. Yeah.
Okay. So why does it say if I give all I possess to the poor when the words "the poor" are nowhere in sight? It just says, and if I feed everyone, well, maybe the poor would be, no? If I feed everyone, yeah, those existing with me, if I feed all the people with me, existing with me, I mean, where in the world are they getting poor from? I know that in this letter, you have the weak and strong dichotomy, and the weak are usually associated with the poor, but there's no poor in this verse. So how does that just vanish, or not vanish, but just automatically appear into a verse that doesn't say anything about the poor? Because that changes how you read it,
How are you reading Huparchanta?
Yeah, the ones already with me,
Barconta.
the ones being with me.
Is that verb is? I don't know that verb. So
yeah, it just means to like exist. But this is a participle, so it's an articular participle. The ones existing move with me. So, and if I feed everyone existing with me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, I got number 4. I want to ask is this possibly the parado tosomamu uh give over my body, hand over my, is this an allusion to Jesus being handed over uh at his, like he gave his body, he was handed over. I think this is coming from the paradidomi verb, and
yes.
that's what's used when Jesus was handed over. So is this is Paul giving a nod to like martyrdom, or say, like yeah, hand giving over your, instead of being handed over like Jesus was, like is this a nod to that, or is this have a completely different meaning? That's my
Yeah.
4th question.
Yeah. That's where it would be weird to have in order that I might be burned. Um,
Yeah.
if that's what it means. It seems like he's saying, like, if I feed everybody around me and I hand over my body with the purpose of boasting about it,
Yeah.
then I don't have love. But yeah, so it's interesting to um and so all right, so he says, but do not have love, the way the NIV is trying. If I do this, hand over my body, or give all, if I feed the people and hand over my body, but don't have love, I gain nothing. It's just like an equation. So I want to flip it on its head and ask, okay, so if I do feed people and I do hand over my body and I do have love, like I do those things from a place of love, then do I gain something? And if so, what is it?
Mm. Let me alter your question for my 5th one then.
Sure.
Is it possible to not feed people, to not give over your body, but to
Mm-hmm.
have love? Is that even
Very
possible?
good. Yes.
Because
Very
that
good.
doesn't seem to make sense at all. Or that doesn't seem like that would even be a possibility. So is this like what you asked? Do you have to have all 3? Or can you have some but not the others?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um so I tend to think that, like, loving people, I don't want to say unconditionally, but without strings attached, um, would kind of, like, expecting necessarily nothing in return, would be like a really noble and high form of love, right? It seems to me that doing something and or loving someone with the goal of gaining something from it, it seems less noble to me. And that could
Hmm.
be wrong, but it seems less noble. So is Paul talking about degrees of love here in this chapter? Because we often read 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter is like love is all the same thing all the way throughout, but could it be talking about varying degrees of love? And is loving with the intent to gain something from it okay? And that's a two-part question, but yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Wow. So many questions. I wrote a book on First Corinthians and still struggling with some of this. um, Good stuff. Well, yeah, you got anything else, JM? Wrap it up there.
I've asked my 5, and it just makes me need to go back and review my Greek vocabulary because there's so many words that I'm like, I think I know that word, but then do I know the full range of that's the problem with vocabulary. I mean, you're a language guy, you know this. Like, semantic domains are fuzzy sometimes, and we just want a one-to-one.
Right.
Love always means agape, or
Right.
whatever. We just want to plug in a definition, and it just doesn't work that way, and that's maddening.
Yep. Well, all right, friends. After you're done watching and listening here, head over to discipledojo.org and the Disciple Dojo YouTube page. Subscribe there, like, watch, share, all that good stuff. And when you're done with that, head over to glossahouse.com. Check out all the good offerings there, and the Glossa House TV YouTube page, and the Proof Text podcast on Spotify and iTunes and all that jazz. Yeah, we're going to wrap up there, friends. We'll stop and say we hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.